Welcome back, everyone. This is heavyweight boxer TJ.Braddock here, and we are back with reactions, baby. That's right, folks. Sorry if I've been slow on the grind with the reactionary half of my channel lately, with all the hoopla with my computer and all that jazz. But I'm hoping to remedy that today by reacting to a video that I admittedly have been putting off for quite some time. So today, we're going to be reacting to which Punch-Out boxer's the biggest cheater from Bumbles McFumbles. Now, as I always state, I'm a boxer vtuber, I'm a heavyweight class, slugger style is my favorite style of boxing, and I don't care what people say, Little Mac is my favorite character in Smash Bros. And to people who keep saying that Little Mac is trash just because he's always at the bottom tier of nearly every Smash tier list, I don't care. You can duke it out in the comments against me if you want, but I want to keep it a fair fight, okay? Touch gloves with respect and no hitting below the belt. Savvy? Okay. So yeah, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and duke it out in the comments below, but keep it a fair fight. So let's get me boosted into that algorithm at the end of the day. Not end of the day, that's unreal. End of the year. With all that out of the way, let's box. Perfect form. Punch-Out.
Punch-Out is one of Nintendo's longest tenured franchises, using boxing as a template for what essentially boils down to a puzzle game but with punches, as all good puzzles should have to put those Poindexters on our level. Of course, Punch-Out isn't something you should take very seriously since you're going up against magical teleporting Indian men, guys wielding staves in the ring, and someone who thinks it's okay to kick in a boxing match.
Why couldn't that guy just get into kickboxing? Why boxing? God, it doesn't make any sense.
However, all these guys raise a very valid question. How exactly does the governing body of Punch-Out's boxing world define its rule set? The only way these flagrant fouls would be allowed is if there was literally no rule set whatsoever. If this is somehow not grounds for at least a point reduction, you're gonna get someone with a knife in their gloves sooner rather than later. So, I wanted to see exactly which Punch-Out boxers are breaking which rules of the sweet science. For this, I'll be looking at specifically Punch-Out's Wii reboot from 2009, since not only is it the best looking, it's the most detailed, and will allow us to see what exactly these racist caricatures are doing to one-up the player. Speaking of the player, however, Little Mac is probably the best place to start. Given the fact he's your everyman from the Bronx, it's safe to assume that Mac is a pretty standard boxer, and you'd be right. From his attire, to his stance, to how he conducts himself in the corner, Mac is following almost every rule in the Unified Rules of Boxing as established by the Association of Boxing Commissions and Combat Sports. There are a lot of unseens that we can assume are followed, like proper fist wrapping, a clean checkup during the weigh-in, and no illegal substances. Although getting back health from Doc eating a chocolate bar is up for debate. However, it's not a perfect record. See, Mac is actually breaking one of the most paramount rules in all of boxing. He's only 17.
Yeah.
These fully grown men are unleashing bear hugs, Hondo rushes, and Dreamland Expresses on someone not even old enough to drink to numb the pain. This would automatically disallow Mac to compete at such a high level of competition and would need him to take another year before professionally fighting.
Sorry. Yeah, I mean, Mac is a year younger than the approved rule of boxing. And yeah, I mean, you could say he has special privilege due to what I assume is Doc Lewis, since he is a well-renowned boxer within the community, not community sports. But yeah, but giving credit where credit is due, Mac is a tough SOB, and that's definitely grounds for some brownie points in my opinion.
But maybe the WVBA allows him to compete for being a prodigy on Doc Lewis's recommendation?
Yeah.
Either way, despite having the fundamentals down, Mac is just not ready. Some other admin I feel I should address is some of the rules of boxing that would automatically disallow these fights from happening. First is weight classes. Mac is 107 pounds, putting him in the light flyweight division. The very first opponent he fights, Glass Joe, is 110 pounds, putting him in the flyweight division. If Mac wants to fight outside his weight class, he's going to need to at least reach the minimum weight for the class he wants to fight in. So he's bulking up to at least 108 pounds. How will he ever manage that? He could stand on his scale a little weirdly. But
I mean, let's back it up. Let's back it up a bit. Nope.
At least 108 pounds.
I mean, look at the muscle Mac has. He's definitely got some dents in his muscles. Like, I'm pretty sure he can, if he's 100, just shy of 1 pound. If he's just shy of 1 pound, he can definitely easily bulk himself up. I mean, had you seen his training, at least in his Smash Wii U montage? Smash Wii U trailer. I mean, he can definitely make that weight if he's just shy of 1 pound.
How will he ever manage Hugger, who weighs in at over 400 pounds? That's a weight class so far ahead of Mac's own that it doesn't even exist. He's just heavyweight. Clearly the WBBA isn't concerned with weight classes and will book freak show fights, which is all well and good for basically everybody except Little Mac. At his weight, it's very likely, unless he plays the most defensive and evasive style ever devised, he will be killed in the ring. Weight classes exist for a reason, and with Little Mac's pitiful reach, he'd never so much as be able to land a hit on anyone. So yeah, Mac would realistically never be able to go against even Disco Kid, who's as far from Mac on the weight chart as possible as heavyweight. But let's say for the sake of this video being made that Mac could get into the ring. Which of his opponents is breaking the most rules? First up is Glass Joe, D- in human form. This poor son of a gun is 99 in the hole with only a single win to his name. Granted, that win is against Nick Bruiser, former world heavyweight champion, so he's probably still riding that buzz. All the way down to the mat.
Hey, I mean, giving credit where credit is due. I mean, to be 99-1 and all that, he's definitely not doing it. You gotta, to be 99-1, at least with that track record, he must really enjoy the sport of boxing. I mean, he could be a you know what, but I'm gonna go with the former. Like, you really gotta love the sport of boxing if you can still get into ring with that many losses on your track record. And I give him credit for that.
Everything about Joe is frankly up to par. His gloves, trunks, boots, corner behavior is all up to snuff. However, where we do have to mark an infraction is in his title defense match. Exclusive to Punch-Out Wii is title defense mode, where you go up against the same 13 boxers from the base game with enhanced movesets to make them championship material. What does Glass Joe get? A pillow tied to his head. In his intro cutscene after his 100th loss, it's shown that his doctor is so scared for his safety that he won't let him compete without headgear. Now this is a very, very big infraction, possibly the biggest that you could get. Headpieces in boxing are strictly forbidden, as you're cushioning one of the most easily punchable parts of the body. The only way that headgear is allowed is if both boxers get it. But Little Mac doesn't. If Joe's taking reduced damage from headshots, he has an unfair advantage. However, I'm not totally sure I can count this one. You see, in this game, if you lose 100 times, you get a headgear that you can wear during matches that will reduce damage.
Oof. That has got us smarks. I feel sorry for the poor guy who had to lose 100 times to Glass Joe just to get that picture. Also, a bit of a side note with Glass Joe. I know his name is a pun on the glass jaw, which means he has a weak chin. But to be fair, he's not. Once again, he's 99 in the hole, at least 100 given the title fence. he lost 100 times and his jaw isn't shattered. I mean, and even if it was, he definitely has a fast recovery rate. And plus, I'm pretty sure his jaw would be getting stronger with each like every healing, much like how Muay Thai has you like kick like wooden beams to help to build up microfracture reinforcements in your legs. So looking at it like that, he's at least gaining a little bit more toughness in his defense.
Now, I will say that if you've taken 100 KO losses in professional fights, a headgear now is about as effective as a mommy kiss on a decapitation. But it raises an interesting question. If Joe is fighting with this because he has to, does it count as an infraction? I mean, he literally can't fight without it thanks to his doctors in the WBBA, so is it wrong? Yes, it is. Unless Mac is also wearing one, you can't wear headgear. Now, if Mac also loses 100 times and wears it, it's all up to Borg. Until he does, though, he's got one infraction against him.
Flyweight, 5'10", infractions, improper use of head coverage, and being French. Ooh, ow. Ow, grade A. Well, at least the being French doesn't count. So yeah, at least he only has a grade A, so he's pretty low on the infraction list.
Von Kaiser comes next, and given the fact that he's shown being bullied by kids, I think Mac will do just fine. Kaiser seems totally up to board, just like Joe. However, it's time to bust out a rule you might not have even thought about. Kaiser's pants are actually the big problem. In boxing, it's required that you wear loose-fitting trunks that extend no further than the knees to better show off potential low blows. Kaiser is not only wearing them below his knees, he's got them tucked into his boots. That's an infraction right there, but given that you've seen his status as a boxing teacher, it's pretty safe to say that he's got no other major oversights in his boxing style.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of known that. I do know that, but I'm pretty sure he's kind of like getting away with the pants just slightly, just because he has the suspenders on to show the demarcation between his waist and his upper half. But I'm getting too ahead of myself.
Disco Kid is after him, and as I said before, this guy is massively out of Mac's league. Literally, he's double Mac's own weight. At first I thought the disco ball in his intro could count as an outside electronic, which you can't have, but upon closer inspection, it's more likely than not a part of the bombed out ghetto gym that these fights take place in. It's a professional fighting arena on Mondays and Thursdays and senior bingo on the weekends. However, you can nail him for using headphones in the corner. He could very easily be receiving outside illegal advice through those. There's just no way to know.
I mean, what if he's receiving specific instructions through musical Morse code? Because this guy's all about music, so maybe he understands like specific coding in music to figure out how to win the fight. I mean, why doesn't he just envision music in his head and just box to the rhythm of the beat? That'd be cool.
However, the biggest offense is in his title defense fight, where he forgoes the boxing shorts for a fashion-forward leotard. While fitting in with his lifestyle choice to take up boxercising, it's also bananas illegal. In boxing, you're required to have a clear line of demarcation between your trunks and your chest with the seam of your boxing shorts. It also needs to contrast as to let your opponent know where would count as a low blow. He's not even wearing pants!
That's something you would wear in wrestling. Oh god, that's a crazy face. But yeah, he's definitely slaying with that leotard. So good for him to be fashionable, but no, not allowed. The afro's also a good touch, but he doesn't have that big afro power like Afro Luffy. Like if his afro was bigger, I'm pretty sure he would be able to technically win a fight, but he's no Afro Luffy.
Disco Kid is asking for low blows and he has nobody to blame but himself. The Disco Kid comes out swinging with a record-setting 2 infractions.
Let's see here. Failure to follow dress code, personal electronics, not acknowledging the death of disco. Okay, that's okay. I mean, I know disco it's not being used there now, Nate, but disco balls are a great set piece, especially in the nightclubs. It's grade D.
Here's hoping he doesn't get immediately. Yeah, there's a lot to unpack with King Hippo. Probably one of the most iconic boxers in the franchise, King Hippo is also lousy with rule breaks. Before the fight even starts, King Hippo's weight, height, and nationality
Hippo
are all
Island,
unknown.
South Pacific.
By that logic, it's safe to say that he did not come to the required weigh-in and hasn't gotten a proper US-sanctioned boxing license. Place of origin cannot be up to interpretation! Before a punch is even thrown, he's already broken 2 rules.
He's 18. He's 18. He's 18-9. All by KO. I mean, how heavy is that? I mean, if we're gonna ignore that his name is King Hippo, which is honestly a indication of something. Considering that this guy is bigger than Bear Hugger, I'm pretty sure he's got to be like double his weight or so. I mean, hey, with that big a bulk, he's definitely punching. He's definitely gonna give some heavy hitters per se. I think I can take him.
Then we get to the fight, and instantly we got a violation for head covering. That funny little crown may look good in marketing, but you don't get to take it into the ring with you. However, for the rest of the fight, he somehow manages to keep it clean, save for his pants falling down, but that's a more public indecency thing than a boxing thing. In his title defense mode, however, we've got a bigger issue to deal with. His crown is back and actually bigger this time, but the real issue to discuss is what's going on with his stomach. He's wearing body armor! But would you believe me if I said that the covering for a man's hole isn't the only problem here? Only in minor circuit fights are you allowed to have tape on your body. That's why the big X over his tummy is legal. In a world championship fight, you can't have tape on your person. So taping the manhole covering is a whole new rule break. King Hippo manages to break 5 different rules in his
weight class and height are all unknown. Failure to appear weigh-in body armor. How did this happen? Well, I mean, yeah, he's definitely, the WBBA, at least in the punch-overs, it's a pushover. But then again, this guy has natural body armor due to his belly. I mean, look at that belly. You'd be hard. You need to have like double. You need to have like bullet penetration to at least land like a good, to even land like a diaphragm shot. Let's see, head covering, both twice, legal tape twice, public indecency. I'm glad that's question mark because that's not technically. I don't know if that's technically part of the rules infraction in boxing. Like that's on his part. That's mostly on his part.
Fights and puts him well ahead of the rest of the pack.
Yep.
Moving on to the major circuit now, Piston Hondo is up, and with him we get the most up-to-bar boxer thus far. Literally the only thing you can get him on is his headband. That's because it's a head covering and it might allow punches to slide off easier. Other than that, Hondo's playing the exact same game you are.
6'2", his only infraction is head covering. Good.
This is even a problem exclusive to the Wii version, because in the original he fights without a headband. Sadly though, he's been barred from competition for the most heinous crime that a boxer, nay, a human can commit. Pirating manga.
Oh, really? Rumor Sailor Moon manga and Punch Out cost Nintendo millions. Let's go on a little side
I'm that a
tour.
boxer. Nay,
Let's do a little side tour here. I think it's.
sadly, though, he's been barred from.
Let's do a little side tour here. Is it because that panel? It's because like the pages in the book he's reading has like panels from Sailor Moon. I mean, I can barely see it. I can barely see it due to like the texture quality, and he's moving that, and you only see it for a split second there. I mean, is that why? I mean, I saw a blurb of this, but I didn't really read it. But yikes! That's I wonder how the developers managed to sneak that in. Well, that's a shame.
Barred from competition for the most heinous crime that a boxer, nay, a human can commit. Pirating manga. After him is Bear Hugger, and given the fact the game was made by a Canadian studio, you'd think they'd make this rep one of the more noble ones. There's a lot to unpack with Bear Hugger. First is his attire. Just like Von Kaiser, you gotta be showing off those knees. Also, like Disco, there's no distinct line between his upper and lower body. Not to mention, in title defense, he's got a head covering too in the form of his hat. Now let's get on to the wholly unique infractions. He's got far too bushy a beard.
Hey, I mean, that hat looks stylish, especially in training montages, that's for sure.
In boxing, you need to either be clean-shaven or have well-groomed facial hair, and certainly no beards are allowed. Something like that acts as a cushion for the jaw. In between rounds, he's also chugging on maple syrup and taking naps. This covers two whole new infractions: the consumption of anything other than water while in the corner that you may associate with a certain someone else, and not taking the fight seriously. Not only is it disrespectful, but it's also a breaking of the rules. However, let's get the big one out of the way. He's not fighting alone.
Yeah, that's not
Bear Hugger brings a squirrel with him into the
ring
ring for title defense. Let's ignore the animal cruelty because it's shown that the squirrel gave consent.
Oh, they're playing
It's shown
Popinski.
that the squirrel gave consent.
Bumbles McFumbles 2021.
And instead focus on the rule of boxing that only the fighters and the ref can enter the ring. You can't do tag team boxing despite how cool that sounds.
Yeah, that
Bear
does
Hugger
sound
overall
cool.
commits 7 different rule breaks in the ring.
Oh. F-, head covering, poor hygiene, illegal substances. I mean, thank God it's normal substance instead of the other illegal substance. Throwing fights. Yeah, he does taunt quite a bit during the fight. Bringing in outside combatants. Yep. And dress code violations. I'm pretty sure the dads were just like being funny when they made Bear Hugger.
Boy, I sure hope he isn't immediately shown up.
What the? Oh,
This one's just f***ing weird. Let's get the elephant out of the room for
Yeah.
now and just deal with him later. First off is the obvious head covering. Can't do that. Also, he's wearing full pants rather than boxing trunks. It's blasé at this point. And also the last boxer in the game to break this rule, since from here on out we're all playing fair in the pants game. He also leaves the ring at points, which is incredibly illegal, which he can only do because of...
He swapped places with Doc.
No, let's just get it over with. Now, in the unified rules of boxing, there isn't anything exactly outlawing the use of magic, but at the same time, I feel like that's only because Evander Holyfield never tried a fucking cup and ball trick in the middle of a match. So he's obviously cheating with the use of magic, but it's not that easy. Essentially, I need to make up a rule on the fly here. Do I penalize him under each different class of magic used? Do I penalize him once under the broad umbrella of magic usage in general? Are clones counted as outside influences despite the fact that they're the same guy? If the clones can't do damage to Lil Mac, are they a threat? Ultimately, it came down to this. I'm handing out an infraction for the teleportation, one for the floating, and I'll give him an infraction equal to the maximum amount of clones he uses in one fight, which is in his Mirage dance, where he uses a clone in the back and one to try to pincer you. So I'm giving him an overall 4 infractions for the usage of magic. That lands Tiger with 8 infractions when you add in the use of a flying carpet.
Yeah, that's effed up. But if it were me fighting in the ring, I'd plow through his shadow clones and just wail on the guy. Like, if this guy wants to be slippery and slimy with magic, oh, I'll punch through his illusions. Let's see him try to get through that. Infractions: magic, teleportation, levitation, 3 cases of clones, head covering, dress code violations, exiting the ring. Yep, F+.
Which again, isn't covered in the rules, but I'm just pretty confident about it. Call it a hunch.
I don't know about the infraction on the flying carpet piece, because maybe that's a theatrical entrance kind of deal.
As a breath of fresh air, Don Flamenco only gets 2 infractions, with the first being for the toupee that he wears during matches. That's a head covering, and as unlikely as strike to the top of the head is, and no matter how little it covers, an infraction is still an infraction. However, his second one is for one that you might not have even seen coming. In his mid-match corner rests, he'll spritz himself with perfume. There are actually a few reasons that this is illegal. First off, the use of an aerosol can be used as an irritant for the other boxer, as the scent can disorient them, and the actual perfume applied can cause the gloves to slip off. But key amongst these facts is that in the corner, only an adrenaline solution, Avatine, and thrombin are allowed to be applied. Unless that thing is filled with liquid adrenaline, he can't have it. I'm also iffy on if this counts as magic, but I'm willing to let it slide as it's outside of the fight. Recreational magic is fine. But thankfully, it looks like the worst of the cheaters are behind us as we move.
He only gets a C with head covering an illegal substance, which is a perfume. Also, I'll give him some points too. Flamenco dance with boxing shoes. That's quite a feat, considering, depending on like how thick the soles are, or if he's using like rubber. Or like rubber padding, at least when depending on the style of boxing that he uses. Looking at his style, I think he's like a swarm. He's kind of like a. I think he's not an infighter. He's not an infighter, so it looks like he's a swarmer or outboxer. So I'm guessing his soles must be pretty light, but to still flamingo dance with with those kinds of shoes is quite a feat.
Move on to the world circuit. Who's next exactly? Oh, fuck that! Soda Popinski is next, and let's just get the obvious one out of the way to start off with. Just like Bear Hugger's syrup, you can't drink soda while in the corner. But he brings a whole new level of cheating by doing it in the middle of a match. Not only does this already fall under the previously explained rule, but he's also bringing foreign objects into the ring. Not to mention he's a sloppy drinker, and by getting soda onto his chest, he's applying an illegal substance to his body. I'm sure you know how sticky soda can be, so imagine trying to punch someone drenched in it. But now for the big one, as he's the only boxer that we know of that's doping.
Before we get into that, I mean, punching someone with such a stick that's very sticky, in this case, with this guy, it's soda. Oh boy, those graphics are going wild with his eyes. Classic Wii U graphics. But in any case, I mean, I'm pretty sure that's gonna be like pretty painful on Soda Popinski's part, because if you're like doing like heavy like side grazing punches, your skin is probably gonna tear pretty easily, because there's like a lot of friction code due to the sticky coating. I'm pretty sure that's going to be a slight detriment to Soda's part.
We see doctors making him special soda in a lab that lets him pull a truck with his teeth, and he's guzzling 18 bottles of this stuff in a match in his title defense intro. Doping is one of the most frowned upon things.
Yeah. illegal substance, soda pop, illegal substance, steroids, illegal. All four are illegal substances, just different categories. Soda pop, steroids, soda on body, and soda bottles. Grade D. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think that grade should be a little lower because all of these are illegal substance, and one is a much more dangerous illegal substance. Like, but I can take this guy in the ring. I mean, I'm not called Hand Cannon Bragg for nothing. And just to quash any naysayers on regarding my arms, I don't take. These are just it's pure muscle. Okay?
Things to do in sports, and to do it in front of a crowd at the expense of innocent Fanta is almost admirably bold. Bald Bull comes next, and with a head shape like that, you can imagine he's gotten a few broken rules under his belt. For starters, between rounds, he's shown applying hot towels to himself, which, given the rules of boxing, he can't do. You can only apply a cold towel to yourself if you want to use one, but maybe it could be a cold towel and he's just so hot from boxing that he's steaming? I'm willing to give him that one, but what I can't budge on is his rage issues. Bald Bull just sort of rampages and wins fights by accident rather than on purpose. As such, after winning the title in title defense mode, he's so blinded with rage that he attacks the ref, throwing him out of the ring. That doesn't just get you a penalty, that gets you banned for life. As well, when he's in the corner, he's shown lifting weights, something I'm not exactly sure on the legality of, leaning on the side of no, but when you get to the point that you start hucking them into the crowd, I feel like that's enough to get the ref to ask you to leave.
Illegal substance, hot towel. Although admittedly a question mark there because he did state he's going to give him a slight pass due to his body being so hot from boxing, unsportsmanlike conduct, endangerment of officials. Yep. I mean, yeah. I mean, also, I found it pretty clever that given the science on how you get a TKO, get like a knockout, an official knockout from Bald Bull, because I saw like a bout of him. You essentially just have to turn with the punch and use his own momentum against him. Although he does remedy that in his title fight. But he has a great D.
Super Macho Man comes next, and with him he brings a ton of infractions. One of a kind too, so that's good for him,
This guy looks like a douchebag.
First off is the gold chain and earrings that he wears. Boxing rules dictate that you can't have any piercings, and you need to take them out before a fight starts. Speaking of attire, his trunks have personal branding on them, which is strictly forbidden. Along with that, in between rounds, he's taking questions from the press, which violates rules regarding press distance from the ring, allowing them only on specific sides of the ring from a certain distance. On top of that, he's got a personal electronic with him in the camera that he's taking selfies with. Then there's the foreign object he brings into the ring when he puts sunglasses on to try to hit the Super Macho clothesline. Speaking of which, I think it's fair to say that there's a little bit of a chance that there's outside interference. The flash photography only gets bright when he goes for the clothesline, and him putting on the glasses acts as a signal to the audience members to start flashing their bulbs to mess with Little Mac. And then, presumably thinking that was a little too subtle of a cheat, he just cold clocks the ref. However, this is also a time where there's a
He has illegal accessories, dress code violation, press disturbance, personal electronics, foreign object conspiracy, endangering official, which is an F- overall. You know, I'm kind of surprised that I know he gets him an infraction for personal branding, but I'm surprised that his Speedo itself is not an infraction in and of itself. I mean, because this guy is just free. This guy is just freeing it all. He's practically freeing it all out with how small that Speedo is. But I guess Speedos in general ain't. Well, scratch that. He has dress code violation, so I'm guessing that swim trunks overall is still an infraction. Yeah.
non-fighter that gets a rule penalty. As in title defense mode, the lighting manager would earn an infraction by discriminating against Macho Man and not shining the light on him. It doesn't matter if they're fighting, it's still a penalty that's boxing related. Finally is Mr. Sandman, the world champ, and there's a reason. This guy's entire strategy is sound, completely and utterly. Makes sense since this guy isn't a cartoon character like the rest. He's a boxer. The most you could levy against him is the fact that in title defense, there isn't a clear line of demarcation between his waistband and trunks. They're both black, so it could be difficult, but the different texture used and the fact that the stripes on the side of the trunks stop at the waist could be enough. Given the fact that no one in the WBBA wants to tell him he can't wear his trunks like that, I'm gonna say it's less of a violation.
Mr. Sandman, 6'5". Nothing, nada, nothing at all, totally clear, up to code. Please don't hurt me. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Mr. Sandman is the equivalent of Mike Tyson in the original Punch-Out series. But yeah, I mean, this guy definitely looks like a handful, but nothing I can't handle. Although, this guy will definitely make for a fun fight.
And more of a please go and change if that's okay, Mr. Champion, sir.
Yep.
I was putting this one off because the highest amount of infractions thus far is Great Tiger with 8. This boxer has 19.
Let's go!
Oh yeah.
Aran Ryan is the first boxer in the world circuit and was made to represent the typical dirty boxer. But they didn't have to go this far with it. Aran Ryan may be a fellow countryman, but that doesn't mean I'm gonna let slip what he tries to pull. Starting off, it's safe to assume that for the whole game, boxers have been getting their gloves the standard way. In a professional boxing fight, boxers get their gloves provided by the venues. However, because Aran Ryan's using loaded gloves, he's clearly bringing them from home. On top of that, we know that he wraps his fists properly, but yet again, that's something that he did at home and it wasn't inspected by the ref. Bringing these things from home and not having them inspected is 4 penalties already, and that's not to mention the little fact that he has loaded horseshoes in his boxing gloves. He's planning on killing Little Mac at this pace. On top of that, he's shown throwing out the classic boxing cheats, trying to throw elbows and headbutts at Little Mac, as well as jumping off the ropes for that headbutt. Including that, he's also shown potentially trying to throw the fight by allowing Mac to get free hits in, literally asking him to hit him. No ref would allow that. But that's not it, as Aran Ryan also attempts to attack Mac before the bell sounds between rounds, and in doing such, throws the ref away. That's one of the biggest no-nos in boxing, and it's just one of the nearly 24 infractions that Aran Ryan accrues. Another thing to note is that there is a difference in the rules regarding intent to cheat and actually cheating. If you load your gloves, that's 1 strike. Actually throwing a punch is a different one entirely. However, this is all before his biggest infraction in title defense mode. Not only does he steal Mac's gloves from the minor circuit after breaking his old ones, he then goes on to fashion his old gloves into a flail! So obviously, bringing a weapon into the ring as well as using that weapon are illegal. But that's not even it. The glove he's using as a flail is old and ragged, and the rules state that if a glove is in such bad condition, it should be replaced by the venue. So even his cheating is cheating! Even more, when he gets knocked down, he'll attempt to throw one more swing with his weapon, and when a fighter is going down, they can't throw any more punches. The ref has already ruled them down and is waiting to deliver the 10 count. And finally, Ryan is also seen inciting and fighting with the crowds to the point that they start throwing stuff into the ring. It's almost admirable how much cheating he manages to sneak into a fight that probably won't take that long. It's not even close that Aran is cheating twice as hard.
Banned across the board. Attempted murder. Do you really need more stuff after I just wrote attempted murder? I mean, come on. This won't be hard, guys. Go away. Yeah, I mean, with all the shit Aran Ryan does, he's definitely banned from the sport for life. But in this case, and I'm not defending him, but I look at Aran Ryan's case, I'm pretty sure he's like how TV shows keep the most problematic contestant because they want the most drama. In this case, either Aran Ryan doesn't know, so he thinks he can get away with it, or he knows, and does it anyway because he likes. I'm gonna go with the former. But yeah. if it were me boxing with this guy, I'd tank all his shots. I am heavyweight, and despite me looking skinny, I'm pretty tough. I mean, look at my arms. Like, I can easily like knock the guy's flail. And if we ever like meet with a headbutt, I'd daze the hell out of him. I mean, I wouldn't. Now, keep in mind, I wouldn't throw a headbutt. It's just that, sometimes boxers like unintentionally headbutt each other when they're in the heat of the fight. You know? But yeah, this guy is a disgrace to the boxing. At least, probably this generation, but this generation of Aran Ryan is a disgrace to the sport. And I'm definitely going and beat down hysteria on his ass.
As the next two biggest cheaters combined, and they were bringing in squirrels, clones, and magic. Aran Ryan did his cheating all on his own. This goes beyond being banned from competition. He's gonna be killed at this rate. The WBBA is going to have a hell of a lot of paperwork to go through to clear up these infractions. And without these cheaters, the league would probably be like 3 people, and one of those people would be Glass Joe, and that's not much of a league. So please accept my proposal for a new little Mac design to line up with the rest of these flagrant rule breakers. So, as you
just gave him a gun.
I gave him a gun.
Okay, that's funny. Although, how is he gonna operate that thing if he's wearing boxing gloves? Yeah. Well, folks, that was which Punch-Out boxer is the biggest cheater from Bumbles McFumbles. Now, I know a lot about the sport of boxing, at least the fundamental rules. The rest are just common sense. At least surface level rules are common sense. Just have proper conduct. Wear some shorts and just make sure that you don't have a unfair advantage and all that. And also, just be a good sportsmanship, for God's sakes. Yeah. But yeah, folks, hit that like button, subscribe button, and duke it out in the comments below. As I said before, no hidden below the belt, touch gloves with respect, and let's keep it a fair fight, shall we? And hey, if this video does well, I might as well react to part 2. Thanks again, YouTube, for watching this with me, and I'll see you next time.